Think about the staggering scale contrast in Coventry City Council's network. Managing almost 4,000 direct Tier 1 suppliers, that's tough enough on its own. That takes significant procurement resources. But then you jump to the next level. Tracking 250,000 Tier 2 suppliers manually? That is virtually impossible. Yet as we established earlier, that is exactly where the bulk of the emissions are hiding. To get a true, accurate picture, you need a system that's capable of mapping the supply chain up to 4 levels deep. You have to automatically pull data from suppliers who might not even realize they're part of the council's broader carbon footprint.
Now, when you transition away from those messy, endless spreadsheets to a centralized visual dashboard, tracking hundreds of thousands of suppliers becomes incredibly streamlined. Instead of those static secondary reports that some consultant generates once a year, the council gets a dynamic global view. We're talking about being able to see supplier distribution across the world, filtering by renewable energy usage, and tracking onboarding progress in real time. This right here is the true power of primary data. It takes this abstract, overwhelming environmental problem and transforms it into a clear operational map. Decision makers can instantly identify exactly where their emissions are coming from.
Enter STERA, the Carbon Intelligence Agency. They provide the automated solution for this massive data gathering effort. Remember how we were just talking about the nightmare complexity of primary data? Well, STERA is the engine that completely removes that mathematical burden. It takes all the raw inputs from that massive network of suppliers and automatically runs the complex calculations required to figure out the council's broader emissions, specifically handling all that heavy lifting for the Scope 3 calculations. It acts as a seamless, centralized intelligence hub, taking the pressure off both the council and the suppliers.
But you might be wondering, how does STERA actually connect to 240,000 suppliers? Well, the backbone of this whole automation is PEPL. Established back in 2010, PEPL is this highly secure e-invoicing framework that actually allows systems to trace transactions up to 4 levels deep. By piggybacking carbon data collection right onto an existing mandatory financial invoicing network, you completely eliminate the need to build a new communication channel from scratch. PEPL legally and technically bridges the gap between the council and its immense supplier network. It makes transferring carbon data as simple as sending a digital invoice. It's a real game changer.
To make this whole process as frictionless as possible, suppliers are given 2 super streamlined options to deliver their data. Option 1 is STERA Direct, which integrates directly into their existing accounting software for a fully automated, completely hands-off experience. Option 2 is a semi-automated portal for folks who prefer to just log in and submit the data themselves. By offering these 2 pathways, the system actually respects the varying technical capabilities of different SMEs. It ensures that the barrier to entry is kept incredibly low no matter how tech-savvy a supplier is.
And speaking of low barriers, the actual requirement for the suppliers is incredibly simple. They only need to provide their Scope 1 and Scope 2 measurements. Basically just the emissions from their own direct operations and energy use. That's it. They enter these 2 figures exactly once per financial year. There are absolutely no complex carbon calculations required on their end. They just hand over the basic numbers, and STERA takes those figures and does all the heavy lifting to calculate the broader Scope 3 impact, the total supply chain emissions for the council. It is literally a masterclass in reducing supplier friction.